This is what's great about sports. This is what the greatest thing about sports is. You play to win the game. Hello? You play to win the game.
Winning isn't everything, but it's the only thing. In our business, there is no second place. Either you're first or you're last.
Ain't this what they've been waiting for? You ready?
And now, the W with Walls and the crew.
Good morning.
Where winning isn't everything, it's the only thing. On 100.1 FM.
Good morning.
And Facebook Live.
Good morning. Good morning. Right back like we never left. Another Saturday morning with the W Show Kansas City, talking sports and pop culture. You're listening to the W Show on 100.1 FM, One Kansas City Radio. Or if you're watching us live on one of our social media pages, we appreciate you. You're tuning in this morning. My name is Steve Walls. As always, I'm joined by the other hosts of the show, DJ Q, Jazz, and Noel. Morning. How is everyone?
Doing great.
Good.
I'm glad to hear that y'all are doing good. The Golden State Warriors aren't doing good. They suffered that 53-point loss yesterday.
Wow. I like how we starting the show off. Just straight up shot at Golden State Warriors. I like it.
Yeah, you got to take a shot when you can. Long as Draymond Green is still associated with that organization.
Oh, that's where we're going with it. Okay, I don't like it then. I don't like it then.
You know, Steve's hate knows no bounds when it comes
to That's tough, man.
I don't have any hate. I got some love for the women's that played in the Final Four games yesterday. And I don't know if y'all seen the nail biter between South Carolina and Stanford. It came down to the final seconds for that game. Stanford snuck away. I think, what was it? The 66-65.
And they got lucky. That tip in almost went in. It hit. Oh, man, I really wanted USC to get that. I really wanted them to win that game.
Yeah. And then UConn, they were upset yesterday by Arizona. Put some respect on Arizona's name.
They're blue blood. They're blue blood programs. I mean, at least the
not
men's
in women's.
were.
Not in women's.
The men's were. Correct. The men's were. So, I mean, who knows? This might be the start of something. But you love it. You love to see it.
Yeah. It's going to be a black coach, female coach, that's going to be in the national championship. So it's going to be a good game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, coming up on today's show, NFL owners approved enhanced schedule with 17-game regular season. And some NFL guys aren't happy. We'll see who those were. The Kansas Jayhawks signed basketball coach Bill Self to a lifetime contract. I think there's something going on there, but we'll talk about it. And also, we will discuss the KD and Michael Rapapprt back and forth. Mike showed the DMs from KD. We'll see what those were. And coming up in about 30 minutes, we'll have our sneakers of the week during our Hated or Love It segment. Let's get into today's headlines.
And now, here are the biggest sports headlines from this week. We bring them to you every Saturday morning on the W with Walls and the Crew on 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
And starting off with the NFL, the NFL owners approved enhanced schedule with 17 regular season games per team. Each club will now take part in additional AFC versus NFC game based on division standings from the prior season and on a rotating divisional basis with AFC teams as the home squad for the additional game this season. The preseason schedule will also include 3 games per team. We'll start off with you, Steve. What are your thoughts?
I'm like Cam Jordan. You know, when he posted to Twitter, he said he knew it. She knew it. They knew it. I knew it. We all knew it was coming. So when last season, when the NFL went through their bargaining agreement with the NFL Players Association, I mean, we knew that this was a part of it. You know, the NFL players, they want to make more money. The league will be able to generate more money with the extra games, adding an extra game to the season. And then fans, of course, I'm a little biased because I want to see an extra game. You know, of course, this year the Chiefs will be facing. They'll have an extra home game, and they'll be facing Aaron Rodgers. He's going to be coming into town with the Green Bay Packers. So I'm a little biased because we get to watch more football. However, when you look at it from a player standpoint, and Alvin Kamara, running back for the New Orleans Saints, was one of those initial players that came out and said, "Hey, this is stupid. Basically, why are we playing an extra game?" And I get it. It's going to be a toll on their bodies playing this extra game. And from what the NFL said in that agreement with the Players Association was that they would take away one of the preseason games, which I felt like they should take away all of the preseason games and just get right to it. It's still only one bye week per team, and either way, I feel like it's going to be a little bit harder on the players, but they wanted to make more money. They also agreed to it, so here we are.
Yeah, and they agreed to some pretty bad stuff in that CBA. I really kind of hate it for the players, mostly because the league makes crazy amounts of money, and they aren't even paid close to what their counterparts are paid in basketball and baseball. So I kind of hate it for them, but I saw the tweet about Jeff Fisher going down in history because nobody else can be 7-9 now. So that was hilarious.
Yeah, and these players, they take a lot of beating during the season. I felt like there could be another bye somewhere in there, or just take away all the preseason games. Now, granted, we know that NFL players have come out and said that they really just go through the motions during the preseason. It's just like a scrimmage, one of those highlighted scrimmage games. So we'll see exactly what happens from this, but I just hope that they don't start doing what the NBA does, and allowing players to rest throughout the season, which I think that it's going to come to that. You know, if we see teams get up, you know, a few touchdowns, we're going to start seeing pull quarterbacks like, hey, because we have that extra game.
I mean, that's part of the game to me. As far as strategy, I mean, if you want to win at the end of the season, the name of the game is, you know, how healthy are you? And if they're going to agree to, you know, 17 games, no extra bye week, only one less preseason games, but nobody, I mean, everybody knows the Stars don't even play, and they only play in but one preseason game. So it really doesn't matter either way. You're going to exactly see that. You're going to see players being pulled. You're going to see, all right, well, we got to make it to the end of the season because we have to be. I mean, it just seems like one game, it doesn't seem like a lot, but it can really add up because it just takes one injury to take away your Super Bowl chances and playoff chances. And in that, you lose money because we know that the players make money. The more you play, the more money you get to make. So we're just going to see that. That's going to be part of the game. I know the players aren't, you know, too happy with the arrangements of their CBA, like you said, but I mean, they never are. It never seems like they get, you know, like it always seems like they get the short end of the stick. I hate to say it when it comes to that CBA.
But my thing is, whenever it comes to taking away all the preseason games, I know last season we talked a lot about where a lot of those injuries caused because we didn't have preseason, and those were the first games that guys were being hit. So I still think I'm an advocate for the preseason games just so that guys can start to get in, like they can kind of ease into it, maybe even though the Stars may not be going at full strength, but at least get accustomed to it, get back into it. And for the rookies' sake too, just trying to get plays down. They're still learning the playbook and everything. Hate to see one of them get blindsided in the first regular season game because they didn't, you know, they weren't in the playbook or whatever like they should have been or couldn't incorporate that during preseason. So I think I would still be an advocate for preseason, but I see where the injury risk comes.
Definitely.
But we'll move on to Northwest Missouri State winning the 2021 D2 men's basketball championship. They dominated number one West Texas A&M 80-54 to win the championship on Saturday. It's the second consecutive title for the Bearcats and their third in the last 5 years. Noah, what are your thoughts?
Man, I'm torn on this one because I got into a little bit of a Twitter spat with one of my good friends. She went to school I believe they're in the MIAA. That's where Northwest Missouri is. Yeah, she went to a school there, and I guess they're now the premium conference in D2. And I went to Southeastern Oklahoma State. We were the Lone Star when I went there, and when I was there, we were the best conference. Like we were the one winning. You know, our teams were winning the national championship. So to see them just come up, and this is what their third in 4 years. That's quite an accomplishment. I've never actually really seen anything like that in that high of a level, because even when you talk about Division I schools, you have the dominant ones, but they don't just continue to win the national championship. So this is a big deal, and they would definitely compete with a lot of Division I programs. So let's see if they'll actually, you know, they might actually ascend to that level.
I'm a little biased when it comes to Northwest Missouri State. Of course, I didn't go there, but my mom and my dad, they both went there. My mom was actually the first Black woman to play basketball for the school. So so I'm a little biased. You know, my dad, of course, ended up transferring to Grambling, but you know, I like the school. I like Coach McCullum. He's done a phenomenal job with the school for the last 12 years that he's been there. And then also shout out to the players. You know, we've had, I think, about 4 or 5 of those players that have played in our State Line Showdown All-Star game. So congratulations to them as well.
Yeah, definitely. Sure. That's huge. And they had a pretty good football program some years back. So they're doing some good things over there in the athletics department.
Yeah, props to them. I might sound like a hater, but that's just because I went to Washburn. So you know, I gotta say go Ichabod's, but props to them for sure.
And Dad, your dad played at Pitt State, right? And I know he's had some huge battles with Northwest because they're in the same conference, I believe.
Yep, for sure. and that's a whole other thing because obviously we have a split household. Him and my brother going to Pitt. I'm like the oddball out that went to Washburn. But in my defense, Pitt State does not have a soccer program. So that was my reasoning.
Well, there you go.
But go Ichabod's for sure. Speaking of that, Kansas Jayhawks signed basketball coach Bill Self to a lifetime contract. Self's current contract, which had less than 1 year remaining, has been replaced with a new 5-year rolling agreement that automatically adds 1 year at the conclusion of each season for the remainder of his career. We'll start off with you, Steve.
This is quite interesting because we all know everything that's happening with that university right now. Of course, with the football program, the head football coach, and what happened with them this offseason, the athletic director. They're without an athletic director right now. They have an interim, football coach. If you all remember what I said before when all this was going down earlier this year, Bill Self is the face of the University of Kansas. I mean, he's also the basketball coach, but he's still the face of the whole university. Whenever they need something, they throw Bill Self out there, whether it's recruiting or just for donations or whatever. They put him out there. So happy for Bill. I mean, he's a phenomenal coach. Don't want to take anything away from that. But let's not forget that they're still going through some stuff with the NCAA. So that was the interesting thing about that is it's kind of one of those things where they're letting you know, like, hey, we're standing by Bill no matter what. And that just shows the kind of relationship that the university has with Bill, with Coach Self. So, I'm happy for Bill, but I just don't want to forget about everything that's going on down there at KU.
Yeah, it sounds extra to me. And then, looking at how college basketball is going, I wonder how long KU can be this powerhouse. You start looking at programs, North Carolina, Duke, the Kentuckys, the Louisvilles, like how in this progressive time, like how competitive are they going to be able to be? And what if they're terrible 2 years in a row? What if they go unranked? So now you're stuck with Bill Self. Like, do you fire him after doing this? So yeah, there's a lot of deficiencies up at KU, like Steve mentioned, but this is definitely big for Bill Self. Like, talk about job security.
I don't think they're going to be that bad. I think the worst they'll be is this past season when they, were unranked for a couple of weeks. But then, like I said, all blue bloods have been, up and down this season. So I think if there is a bad, little season for KU, this past season would have been it.
I can see him transitioning into another role, honestly, if it comes to that, to where they're bad. I mean, because like he said, he's the face of KU basketball. I mean, and KU, and really almost college basketball itself. He's one of those pillars. Now, as far as when it comes to their whatever they have going on with the NCAA, I mean, they didn't do anything wrong. I don't think KU did, honestly. We all know it's all about what the NCAA says was what's right is really what's wrong. So I don't think they did anything wrong. I think they're just kind of playing the game. So, but hopefully, later in the show, we'll discuss a little bit about the NCAA. So we'll get into that.
So on that note, we're going to take a quick break. Coming up, we will continue our top headlines discussion, including actor Michael Rapapprt posted screenshots Tuesday of a conversation between himself and Kevin Durant. This is The W Show.
You're tuned in to The W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Dre, when he was younger, he loved to smile. And we knew he would need braces because his teeth were coming in funny. That's when he had the bunny rabbits. We called them the bunny rabbit.
Now, those are the same two front teeth there that they are now.
Then Dre ended up having to wear braces for 5 years because he never made it to appointments because he was busy playing basketball. If he missed practice, he don't get to play in the game.
This is the picture that was on the front page of the newspaper. All you can notice is the braces.
Then once he got to Michigan State, he broke the retainer.
My bottom teeth, they were really crooked, and I just wasn't getting braces again. Small Direct Club fits into my lifestyle so well. The liner is so great. It's easy to just grab it and go, and then I can change on the road. I did photo shoots with my liners in, and you can't see them.
I wish Small Direct Club would have been around when I was paying for them. I wouldn't have had to take them out of school. I wouldn't have had to miss work.
It's like a great feeling to have good teeth. A smile is a first impression. That's why I think having a great smile is so important.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Remember to interact with our show. Use hashtag talk about it, message us, and we will talk about whatever topic you want. Starting off with Pillars, North Carolina Tar Heels basketball coach Roy Williams retires. Williams is a Hall of Famer with more than 900 wins, 3 national championships, and a legacy built on 33 seasons of success at 2 of college basketball's most storied programs.
Yeah.
Enough said. I mean, you literally said it all.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, do we take this Bill Self signing as like a slight to that? Like,
I think it was like kind of sort of sort of response. I felt that way. I ain't gonna lie. As soon as I saw it.
Okay.
So
I just put that together, so that's funny.
when Roy left Kansas, was there any bad? I feel like I read something about there was kind of bad blood when he left. I mean, it was when he left in like 2004, 2003.
It was like
somewhere in there.
Yeah.
There was definitely a lot of bad blood.
What was the deal?
Here's the thing: the University of Kansas fans, boosters, former players, they felt like he kind of just shunned them to go back to
his alma mater.
People, that he originally started at the University of North Carolina, and it took a while before Kansas folks were like, "Hey, well, let's give Roy a pass. He's still a good dude." And I believe it was. 2000 and I want to say 2000 and around 2009, 2010, when Coach Self and University of Kansas, they faced up against Roy in North Carolina. And I want to say Kansas beat North Carolina. So that kind of smoothed it out between.
Smoothed it out.
Yeah, but there was a little bad blood between the two. Anytime that Roy would come back to University of Kansas, he wouldn't be congratulated at all. But now I think people have a lot of respect for Roy and what he did at University of North Carolina and KU.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And that was 2003 he left.
Okay, I figured he was right in there. I always wondered because I was like, he just seems like one of those coaches that he doesn't really have much to say. He runs, pretty much like not really a whole lot. Obviously, we had the scandal with the North Carolina players and the grades and all of that. I know we all remember that, and the basketball program was definitely a part of that. But I mean, like other than that, it doesn't seem like he stays out of the way. He coaches. Marcus Page posted something yesterday about him and like saying he's proud of like him. The man he became is because of him, and I thought that was really deep of him to say. So it just seems like Roy is a good guy. So I always just wondered where the bad blood came from.
Yeah, Roy is that player's coach. Everyone has played for Roy Williams and even that has been recruited by Roy. He's the guy. I can remember back when center played Pembroke and Roy came and he was recruiting Jerron Rush. And I was in 8th grade at that time, but was at the game, and I'm like, everyone was like, "Oh, Roy's here," and of course, Jerron ended up going. Big deal. Durant ended up going into to UCLA. He also recruited Kareem, and Kareem ended up going to the University of Missouri. But Roy's a good dude. He even went back and recruited Shea Rush, Jerron's son, from Barstow, and Shea ended up going to North Carolina as a preferred walk-on. So that he's just a good dude, man. That players love to play for.
Facts.
And he be clean.
Oh, of course, Jordan Brand definitely has him laced up on the sideline.
Yes, you know Michael keeps him laced.
Exactly.
But the thing about it is, it's those shoes, it's those Carolina colorways. It's like, man, why can't I get those?
Yeah.
Them the coaches' exclusives.
Man. Now, Michael Rapapprt shares homophobic, misogynistic DMs from Kevin Durant. Actor posted screenshots Tuesday of a conversation between himself and Kevin Durant in which the Brooklyn Nets star used homophobic, misogynistic, and profane language toward the actor. Durant seemed to confirm the DMs are legitimate in a tweet and apologize in Rappapport's Instagram comments. Let's start off with you, Noel. Hugh, what are your thoughts?
Go ahead, man. Go ahead, man. I want to hear yours.
No, I mean, I really don't have much to say. I kind of agree with what Steve said the other day about him getting a little emotional. And I think I was kind of ignorant to what the whole situation was the other day. And just even looking into it more, like KD is just being a bonehead. And it was funny and it was all jokes when we found it, when everyone found his burner account. And being able to have that, but yes, he's just far too emotional at the level that he is, the level of player that he is, and he just keeps doing things. I hate to put him in the Meek Mill category, but it's like it's only so many guys in the world that stumble just as often, and it's those two guys. So it's just funny to see.
Yeah, I'm right with you. It's just, I mean, obviously, when it comes to Rapapport, I mean, if you're familiar with who he is, he knows like we just really don't rock with dudes like that
at all.
And when I say we, I mean the culture, black folks. We just really don't really rock with him. Like he tries to be over here with, he's the kid that, like, you're at the lunch table, he tries to come sit with you guys, and he's the one cracking all the bad jokes and making all the uncomfortable statements, and you're just like, we're just trying to eat our chicken nuggets, man. Like, just go away.
But people keep him around because he always had the freshest sneakers. Like,
it's something, exactly. He's around just because of some small detail. But like KD, in this respect, man, you can't get caught up in that, man. Like, what are you doing? He's not even close to being worth it. Like, nothing good would come from that. Like, even if you guys do communicate like that, talk like that, like, you went too far. You went too far. Like, you set yourself up to be in this, and now you got fined $50,000. And now again, people know that you're a little more sensitive. You started out a little sensitive. Now you're this sensitive, and now it's like he's really sensitive.
And then I wonder how that translates onto the court too. Like, with other players. Like, we know that KD is an assassin, but on the court, you get a Draymond in your ear that you might have played with.
You're telling the truth, Q. You telling the whole truth.
And here's the thing about Kevin Durant, and everyone knows, I'm a Kevin Durant guy. I feel like Kevin Durant is the best offensive threat in the NBA. Like, I feel like he's one of the best basketball players in the world. Now, for him to be this sensitive all the time, if you say something about Kevin Durant, whether you're a third grader or a 8-year-old woman, if you say something if you at Kevin Durant on Instagram, on social media, he's going to respond. That's just the type of person that he is. He wears his hat on his heart on his sleeve, and he shows his emotions. But the fact that he sent these direct messages to Michael Rapapport, you can't do that, man. I mean, KD has to have someone in his corner that's like, man, come on, bro. You got to stop being so sensitive. Like, they have to be real with dude and say, hey, you can't just respond to everything everyone says all the time. And
it's not healthy.
Yeah, a lot of people got on Michael Rapapport for sharing these direct messages, but hey, KD kind of hit him under the belt, a little bit. When he took shots at his wife, he took shots at his kids. I mean, Michael Rapapport isn't the first guy, and a lot of people try to turn it into a black and white thing, which this isn't really that. because he isn't the first guy that public figure that has shared some DMs after someone they have had a back and forth and they've made him upset. I mean, you can even look back in NBA when you look at Kobe and Shaq, and Kobe's my dude, but I mean, look, Kobe shared some stuff about Shaq and his personal life that he maybe shouldn't have shared. Look at D'Angelo Russell and Swaggy P. I mean, Swaggy shared some stuff about D'Angelo Russell that should have never have come out. So but in all, between both guys, you just can't do that. For Michael Rapapprt to share the stuff, I mean, it kind of goes against the code. You know, you're going back and forth with a guy and then you go public with it. It should have been that, hey, pick up the phone and like, hey, bro, you went too far. Let's hash this out as men and go both go our separate ways.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna use this time, you know, hopefully Kevin Durant sees this and takes this as my formal interview to be his social media manager. And, you know, it just comes at a modest $250K a year. But that, you know, that's on the low end because, you know, I think he's a good guy. So I would give him that discount.
Misunderstood. He's misunderstood. I'd also like to point out like how he was cussing in those DMs. I haven't really heard some of those terms. Like, I mean, I've heard them from a certain kind of, you know, demographic. Yeah. I ain't really heard them from like kind of my demographic. That was a little strange. I'm not gonna lie. Like some of those terms, and obviously we're a family friendly show. We would never like have any screenshots of those DMs.
No. He went to UT. I think he got those down there in
you know, he's from the East Coast. He ain't from Texas. He ain't from Texas. He just went there. he went there, and he only stayed a year.
Steve, I'll say Steve thinks he got indoctrinated in a year.
No, sir. But I was surprised at some of the language in there. But he's got to do better, man. Just do better. Who cares, man? Just get on the court and drop 30 on 15 shots and go home.
Hey,
get off Twitter, man.
Please. Quick story, real quick. We went to it was Drew, myself, Leandria, and Charmaine and Mike Lang. We all went to Kobe's last game in Oklahoma City. We drove down there and ended up, you know, meeting Kobe, and we got to talk to KD after the game. And this was like in the parking garage. So KD rolled up. And my boy Mike had a Lakers hat. This is when, you know, everything was swirling about KD leaving OKC. People were like, "Oh, well, you're gonna go to the Lakers." So Mike had a Lakers hat, and he was like dangling. And KD rolled up and rolled his window down and was like, "Hey, man, why you got that Lakers hat out here? You know where you at? You in OKC?" And Mike was like, "Come on, man, you coming to Lakers or what? You come to Lakers?" He was like, "Man, explicit the Lakers." And I'm like, oh, come on, KD. But he ended up being a cool dude though, man. But he gotta get out that quick story.
Yeah, that's funny.
That's funny.
Definitely.
Not everything deserves a reaction.
Exactly.
But MLB moving 2021 All-Star Game from Atlanta over Georgia voting law does. The Major League Baseball announced Friday that is moving the All-Star Game out of Atlanta in response to a new Georgia law that has civil rights groups concerned about its potential to restrict voting access for people of color. Cue the love it. The love it sound.
Get it, Steve.
I love
it.
No, this is great. Because it takes money from a county that's more likely to vote in the direction of the GOP that is, you know, forcing these very biased laws to go through. But it's a big step in the direction that the country and the world needs to move to. And I love to see it from MLB as an organization. And then also them trying to clean up some of their racist past in the recent, but we still need to see more. And we need to see much more, not only from corporations, but from you know, the NFL, the NBA. Like this needs to trickle, and it needs to trickle down as fast as possible.
I agree. Also agree with what President Obama said in his tweet. And he said it said it best when he talked about it being a way to honor former Braves Hall of Famer Hank Aaron, who broke the racial barriers during his storied career. You know, Hank Aaron died in Atlanta back on January 22nd. So, and like you said, Q, the MLB, they've seen what's going on with the NFL and with Colin Kaepernick. They've also seen you know, the forward thinkers in the NBA and what they've done by taking a stand, you know, for various things. And the Major League Baseball, we know what's going on with it's America's game, right? So I believe that they want to be highlighted as the new school, the new school MLB. I think they want more fans. Of course, they need to get that younger crowd, the younger demographic, to follow Major League Baseball because they see what the other sports are doing.
No, definitely. And some of it is performative, you know, for that reason, for them to make money. But yes, in that sense, they know that they are hurting in a certain demographic, and especially in the future. And they don't need to lose that footing. You know, they rely heavily on Black players from Latin countries. You know, and taking away the cool out of those guys and trying to have them assimilate to the machine of American baseball is just silly. And that even that is political in itself. And you just love to see that them waking up and actually listening now, like, you know, but then it'll have to come with facing more, you know, racist atrocities that they've committed over the past couple of decades.
and it's cool with the Q too. Q.
Oh yeah.
I like it because it's score one for politics and sports.
Yeah.
Everybody goes around. The new GOP saying is keep politics out of sports. Well, politics just continues to flourish in sports, and I love it. They didn't deserve to have the All-Star game there. You know, if you can maintain your racist views, you can have them, but you don't get things like All-Star games and Super Bowls and hopefully Super Bowls. And I hope it like anything, any event that brings major, you know, dollars to your city, you shouldn't be able to, you know, host them if you have. I mean, this is the stupidest rule ever. You mean to tell me like you have to send an ID number in order for you to register to vote? I think it's the most foolish thing I've ever heard, but you know, it is what it is. I'm glad the MLB did what they did.
And here's the thing too, that I mean, they're not the first organization that has said that they're going to pull a sport from a city, right? We saw the NBA do it when Charlotte were with the bathroom laws, right? So, like I said, the MLB isn't the first to do this. They're just kind of trying to play catch up right now. But the thing about it too is that the Atlanta Braves came out and had the worst press release that I've ever seen. I'm like, who would write? Who was in charge of writing this press release? It's basically they're going against what Major League Baseball has come out and said, just because the MLB has pulled the All-Star game from their city.
I mean, look at their name. I mean, look at the name right there in the top left.
There we go.
That tells you everything that you need to know about that press release. So I very terrible. I agree with you. Why would you put yourself on the map like that? you could have just sat over in the corner and ate your food, but now something possibly
or they could have been more proactive in the past couple of elections to make sure that people that don't share human decency that they don't get into political office, so things like this happen. But now they're trying to play victim, and it's like, what about the other humans that live in your districts that are being oppressed in the form of voter suppression? But it's the money that they care about, and
of course.
nobody cares about your money when lives are at risk. So
For sure. And my biggest thing from that, of course, was, like you said, the playing victim. They were acting like they didn't have some sort of say or impact on the community. You have plenty of people that want to listen to what you have to say, but they want to be guided in the right direction. And so seeing that it's just like, oh, it's almost in a way they're claiming that they had nothing to do with it. And it's like, you had everything to do with this.
Everything.
Hate to see it. But we're going to take a quick break. Coming up, we'll have a Hate It or Love It segment and kick it off with our Sneakers of the Week. This is the W Show. We'll be right back.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Dre, when he was younger, he loved to smile. And we knew he would need braces because his teeth were coming in funny. That's when he had the bunny rabbits. We called them the bunny rabbit.
Now, those are the same two front teeth there that they are now.
Then Dre ended up having to wear braces for 5 years because he never made it to appointments because he was busy playing basketball. If he missed practice, he don't get to play in the game.
This is the picture that was on the front page of the newspaper. All you can notice is the braces.
Then once he got to Michigan State, he broke the retainer.
My bottom teeth, they were really crooked, and I just wasn't getting braces again. Small direct club fits into my lifestyle so well. The liner is so great. It's easy to just grab it and go, and then I can change on the road. I did photo shoots with my liners in, and you can't see them.
I wish Small Direct Club would have been around when I was paying for them. I wouldn't have had to take them out of school. I wouldn't have had to miss work.
It's like a great feeling to have good teeth. A smile is a first impression. That's why I think having a great smile is so important.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Hate it.
It's that time for Love It or Hate It.
Hate it.
If we love it, we talk about it. If we hate it, we move on.
Starting off with our Sneakers of the Week, we'll start off with the most festive, the Air Jordan Low Easters. What are you guys' thoughts?
I don't agree that they're the most festive, but I would agree. But they're pretty. I like the ice blue. I ain't gonna lie, the ice blue bottom is cool.
Yeah, back in the day, I probably would have bought these, but it just doesn't make sense because you're if you buy them, then you wear them and they start turning brown on you. I mean, once they start getting oxidized, they're going to turn brown either if you wear them or if you leave them sitting in your closet. So, I mean, this just
on the court, you just straight on the court. That's it.
The lows, you're gonna wear the lows on the court?
Oh yeah, I've been a big proponent of Kobe lows on the court ever since 2011. I haven't worn. I really tried not to wear anything else except for that. So I can see myself.
But you got to remember the Jordan 12s are a heavy shoe, and Jordan's period. I mean, they're a much heavier shoe than Kobe's. So I don't know, man.
You got it right. You're right.
And the Off-White Converse Chuck 70s.
Feeling these.
Yeah, these might be in my top sneakers of the year.
Really?
Okay, Q. Okay, yeah, Q. Tell us about it, man. What's doing it for you? What is it?
I love Chucks, and I always hate that I like off-white shoes, just because I don't rock with Virgil like that. But yes, with these are. I like very simple designs, and this is a very, very simple but dope design. And then I just I love Chucks. So
And these are actually a re-release of these. They came out, sold out instantly. I mean, because they're only $130, I believe, on the Converse website. So yeah, 130. You can get these off whites. Where in America can you find some off whites for $130?
Good luck.
Exactly.
Good luck.
And the Nike Cosmic Unity Space Hippies.
I would rock these if I was still hooping. If I was still hooping, I would get those in a heartbeat.
Yeah,
For sure.
I like these. Very, very simple on the colorway. With pops, just pops of color in there. I like it.
Yeah. That orange is doing it for sure. That orange, those Nike signs, I like it.
Yeah, I'm a fan. And last but not least, the Adidas Harden Volume 5 supports.
Oh my gosh!
So hear me out. Hear me out
on these. Yeah, that means
hear me out. Hear me out. All right, now the colorway may not be much for you guys, but this shoe is really, really, really comfortable. I'm not even joking.
We get that you are a paid employee.
I mean, it ain't even really about that.
We understand that, no, but when you're watching SpongeBob and it says 1 hour later, like this is the background. Like just put Photoshop 1 hour later over that, and you could see that on SpongeBob. Like these are terrible.
No, it literally is.
It's the flower for me. I can't.
Yeah, it's the flower because I could rock with the butterfly.
Oh, what? Dang.
Yeah.
So what about the storm cloud? We're not feeling the storm cloud.
I'm not feeling this whole shoe.
Yeah, here's the thing. We got to start. I'm gonna have to, when we got the shoes, the sneakers of the week, I'm gonna have to put a disclaimer right above Noel's head. Like disclaimer bubble. Whenever there's Adidas on that, disclaimer.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I put my foot into that shoe and I was like, yo, this is like I'm walking on a cloud, right? Literally walking on a cloud.
But why did you put your foot in that shoe?
I mean, it wasn't that shoe specifically. It wasn't
like whenever I leave this earth, just make sure nobody puts those on my feet.
Oh man, I wouldn't dream of it. I wouldn't dream of it. I wouldn't dream of it. I wouldn't do you like that in the afterlife.
No way. Now Mookie Betts unseats Aaron Judge for MLB's top jersey. Hate it or love it.
Love it. And
top of the game.
I love it because that is the type of player that I think of when I think of baseball. I think of a guy that has fun, that is very superior in his talent. His athleticism is through the roof. He is a good hitter. He can run the bases. He can defend. Like
he does it all.
Mookie Betts is baseball. I don't know about any other guys that may play for the Angels or the Padres or anybody. I know that Mookie Betts is baseball, and this is very a big statement for fans, like to really make, because who do you think is wearing these jerseys? Like, and it's not old white men over 50. And like these are kids that are wearing these jerseys, and these are young adults that are wearing his jersey. And it's just great to see, and it's good for the city of LA too, because I mean they just have a clean jerseys and the logo and everything. So
yeah, I really feel like Andrew McCutchen, Giancarlo Stanton, Aaron Judge, all those guys represent, like you said, Q, they represent baseball. I mean they're the superior talent, right? It's like you know they get the big contracts, they all that stuff, top jersey sales. I mean, we see it, they see it, like, it is what it is.
Yes,
Facts.
definitely.
Facts.
And I love that he goes by his nickname.
Oh yeah.
Now, Supreme Court questions validity of amateurism in NCAA's business model. Hate it or love it.
I mean, we talk about this almost weekly. Like it's like we literally talk about this weekly. And in today's society, the arguments that the NCAA is making, it sounds so ancient. Like,
it's hilarious.
Are you guys really saying that you make billions of dollars from these people, these young men's talents, these kids' talents, but you can't pay them a dime. But then they also can't make money off of their name that they worked hard for. Like again, it's the same thing with record labels cutting off DJs for playing music on Instagram. Like it's just a very authoritarian dictator type of it's asinine from top to bottom, and it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I agree, Q. It seems it's so simple, right? Because even and I can see, there will be these top tier athletes that will, let's just say, a top athlete gets $100,000, then the bottom tier athlete gets, $100 or whatever. And I know that's a big difference, but I say that to say this: there even if there's a median of like, okay, well, you can't make over $10,000 in a year for your likeness. I can agree with that, because you don't want. No, here's the thing. Hear me out. You don't want some of the young NCAA players, the young ladies that won't make as much as the male athletes will. I'm just saying it from that standpoint, just so that there's an even playing field. But they need to be able to make some money off their likeness. It's not hurting anything as long as it's not betting, as long as it's not, going against professionalism or amateurism. I think that they should be able to make some money. But even if there's a ceiling on what you can make and within a taxable year, hey, I'm with that.
Somebody they deserve it, period. There's really not much else for me to say about it. We all, we were all athletes. We all seen what the NCAA makes. We see what they continue to make and what they continue to put their money towards. My thing is, it's like nobody says anything to these coaches when they get to, they get to get up, leave, do whatever they want to. They get to make money off their likeness. And they're still under the NCAA umbrella.
We've seen the Subway commercials.
We've seen them all. So how are they not a part of amateurism? Like it doesn't equate to me. So I'm just like, look, you guys are wrong. It's only a matter of time. Your organization is tanking. It's going down. Now, if you want to stay afloat, pay these kids. If you want your organization to end, go ahead and keep going the direction that you're going. But I'm glad to see it and also I feel kind of sorry for that lawyer who has to argue that. I'm sure he's getting paid a whole lot, but I'm sure he's looking very stupid in court, like trying to formulate arguments to articulate their point. And I know it. They sound stupid. I just know it. I want video.
When you're a cheater, sounding stupid is the least of your worries. Like they're after one thing and one thing only, and that's to be oppressive over a certain people, and it's nothing but slavery redefined.
Now, Tiger Woods investigators determine crash cause, but won't release report, citing for privacy. Hate it or love it.
I love it. Like I think the other day I kind of laughed at it and said I hated it, but I love this for Tiger because we as a general public, we are allowed too much access into these celebrities' lives. And if they would like to leave this private, yes, let's do that. And let's move on to bigger issues, just like the MLB decided to do this week.
Now I believe this is the same sheriff's office that had an issue with one of their officers showing photos of the late Kobe Bryant, trying to pick up a date at a bar or whatever. And so I don't know if this is one of those things like, hey, we're gonna save face. We saw what we did to one of our own athletes right here in Los Angeles. And so I don't know if they're trying to save face, but this is Tiger Woods. Tiger's going through a lot within his career. The crash is also huge because we don't know if he's going to be able to play golf again, right? So, I just felt like they took a step back and said, hey, we're going to leave it up to Tiger. If he wants us to show it, then or talk about it, we will. But if he doesn't, then we're going to close the books on this case, and that's what I did. Now, on Tiger's side, though, when have we ever? When has TMZ ever not been able to get some information? At some point, it's going to come out. Right amount of money is going to make it come out. But in Tiger's case, it's good that it doesn't.
No, definitely. And Tiger has a lot of money. Like, I don't even think it's any police department trying to save face. It's them trying to save some money. And that's literally all it is, because Tiger Woods has money and reach, and he has certain privileges for how he's lived his life. Yes. So kudos to Tiger.
Thanks. And the NFL tells teams in a memo not to anticipate all virtual offseason in 2021. Hate it or love it.
I love it. I'm a little biased on this because I'm ready to go out there and watch some football practice.
Yeah. And I mean, the vaccine is rolling, so we could start getting used to people getting back, things opening back up. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if the state of Missouri lifted all their restrictions in the month of April ahead of the summer.
On the way. Yeah, the mask mandate is gone in St. Joe.
Yeah, but that's Missouri. The governor is concentrated on Branson and the Ozarks, and it's definitely going to open up. So
for sure. And Master P's son, Hersey Miller, picks an HBCU to play college basketball. Hate it or love it.
Love it.
Master P has always been on code, man. He's the one Black celebrity who I feel like has never wavered in his support for us. Mm-hmm. No matter what it is. I mean, he's had all of his ideas have been Black centric, and everything he does is I'm here to push my community forward. And he's a legend. I mean, who do you know went to the league and rapped at the same time? Went to the league, man.
Dame.
So he's a legend. I mean, Dame was already a hooper. Dame was a hooper before.
Master P rolled out that carpet for him. He created
that lane. Yeah, he did for sure.
That is very huge, because again, we look at how the GOP is so very dedicated to racism. Percy Miller is dedicated to Black people being empowered, and that is a great thing for him, to have that message go over into his son's lives. Mm-hmm. That is a great legacy to build on.
And he chose Tennessee State over LSU, UCLA, USC, Mizzou.
Good.
And it's shifting. We were starting to see the shift. Deion Sanders, I think, was the head of that shift to start young folks to raising eyebrows, okay. And I said it in a meeting that we had earlier this week. It's a lot easier from kids, from young people that live in the South to choose an HBCU over one of these predominantly white institutions, over, a kid that's coming from the likes of California or Oregon or let's say New York City, because they have those HBCUs, all across the South, and they've seen what an HBCU school is.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. The SWAC is big down there. The SWAC is big, and you have all these other NAIA schools. You have Division II schools down there. I mean, you have all the choices in the world, and obviously with Master P, he's from Louisiana, so it's right down there.
And Steve, I'm not gonna let you take the young guy. What's his name? Mocker Maker going to Howard. I'm not gonna let you steal his pioneering and give it to Deion Sanders. We're not gonna do that. So
this is true. This is true.
Yeah.
Now, JJ Redick sounds off on New Orleans Pelicans front office's handling of trade to Dallas Mavericks. Hate it or love it.
I love it. I love him doing that.
Yeah, I have an interesting take on this. He said that he requested a trade from them earlier in the year, and they said they had some sort of verbal agreement. And then they decided to do this. That he wanted to be, close up on the up east, close to where his family is. That's where he's from. He was like, trade me somewhere in the Northeast, and they didn't do it. This is just another reason why you should always do what's best for you, no matter what that organization says.
Yes.
And it sucks because Jayda is a good guy. He's a really good guy. Like his podcast is great. I implore you guys to watch it. It's a really good podcast. He has a lot of great players on there, but he always tries to do, business the right way. And he was with that organization for, 2 or 3 years, and they just did him completely wrong. So always do what's best for you.
Let's hear what JJ had to say.
Tommy, you know this, and this is not public, but back in November, I made a trade request, and it wasn't my agent making the request. It was me. I had multiple very transparent conversations with Trajan Langdon and David Griffin. The impetus for this was my son, of course, had started kindergarten in Brooklyn back in September. We had no idea when the NBA season was going to start. What the NBA sort of sprung this. We're starting Christmas Day, and laws were in place, both with the NBA, making it almost impossible for me to return to New York at any point in time, although the team was nice enough to let me go back for 24 hours prior to our long West Coast trip in January. But then also my family couldn't come down unless it was a long break. So they came down once right before Christmas, right before the regular season started. But, their school policy is you got to quarantine for a week. So if they come down for a weekend, they miss the next week of school. That's just how it works. Try telling a 4-year-old or 6-year-old, don't go into school on Monday and tell people that you went and saw your dad this weekend. It's damn near impossible. So I talked to Griff. I talked to Trajan. Griff basically says to me, come down for a month. If you still want to be traded, I give you my word. I'll get you to a situation that you like. We've had subsequently 4 conversations. Again, my agent talks to him, but I'm talking to Griff directly. That's how I wanted to handle this. Griff and I had a personal relationship. And obviously he did not honor his word. And again, that is not a slight on Dallas at all.
Here's the thing about this, real quick before we move on. He felt like Trajan Langdon, a Duke guy. JJ Redick went to Duke. Trajan Langdon went to Duke. He felt like his word was his bond. And, we both go to the same school. We went to the same school. You got to honor that code. It's a code among, alumni. Yeah. So that's why he felt like, all right, I'm going to listen to him. And then he said he had a personal relationship with the team owner. So I feel like, you got that personal relationship. But then here it is. Business is business. So here we are.
LeBron James. That's all I have to say.
Now, Bucks, Bruce Arians shows off photo of Super Bowl tattoo, saying I'm a man of my word, hate it or love it.
I love it.
Oof.
I love it. Hit it, Steve. Hit the love it. Hit the love it, Steve. Hit the love it.
He won't do it.
Here's think about this. When I saw this, coming out, I was like, "Oh, Bruce got a tattoo, cool." But then I looked at it a little bit closer. I saw after the Y on Tampa Bay. I saw the 9. I'm like, "Hold on, wait a minute." I looked over at the T and I saw the 31. I'm like, "Come on, Bruce." No, Bruce, we don't want. And I try to be professional. Like I don't try to when we talk. I don't try to say, "Oh, show my fandom for the Chiefs." I never do. But it's one of those things where it's like, all right, Bruce got us. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers got us, but it's all good.
Hey, Bruce just said, hey, that last field goal turned that 6 to a 9 now.
It is what it is. It is what it is. But shout out to Bruce though. He kept his word. He said he was going to do it at the parade, and he did it. Another great show today, y'all. As always, we appreciate everyone for tuning in. Remember, you can catch a rewind of our show on Mondays on 100.1 FM, One Kansas City Radio, anytime on social media. We also have a podcast of our show, Sideline Sports Talk Network. Go download it wherever you get your podcast. And until next week, we are out of here. And we also want to give a quick shout out to friends of our show, Luther Glover and Darren Smith. Happy birthday to y'all.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday's coming up too. So be on the lookout for that. We out here.
views and opinions expressed at the W Radio Show by the host, co-host, guests, and call-in listeners are solely the opinions and responsibility of the original source who expressed them. They do not represent the opinions of the W Show, 100.1 FM, One Kansas City Radio, Sideline Sports Talk, Team Wall Street Foundation, or affiliates.